Hello, folks. This is the second try today. Hey, it's Beattie Boy. May 7th. Checking the camera. May 7th. Dinosaur news brought to you by the British People's League. As usual, technical learning for Beattie Boy. I got the first two up on the renewal season in April. So today's May 7th. And I have to figure out how to upload this once again to the YouTube outlet setup. So in the meantime, hopefully that this is going to be shown to you, my faithful, loyal British blood fans. We'll go ahead with it. 10 minutes or so. Now, a few things to point out today. I neglected the first two shows. So I want to rehearse properly. My old buddies at Candor in the motherland in Britain. Candour, candor.org.uk. Now today, I would like to show you some great publications by Candor. You've heard me talk about their publishing for so long. Now let's show you some. This is A.K. Chesterton, the great writer, the great founding patriot, League of the Empire Loyalists decades ago. The title, The Menace of World Government and Britain's Graveyard. That's the way it's looking in Britain right now. A.K. Chesterton, candor.org.uk. And that's called Reprint Series number 2. Now we'll jump to, I can't get them all in the mail, can I? We'll jump to The Menace of the Money Power. Oh! There's the old boy, the author himself. The Menace of the Money Power, reprint number 4. Again, A.K. Chesterton, the great hero, patriotic hero, great writer. And then, thirdly, the booklet number 8 in the series, Trust Reprint Series, BBC, a National Menace, just like the CBC here in Canada. Fine booklets. So if I stirred up your interest, I've given out their address many times. Candor, Candour, candor.org.uk. Now this is a book form. Facing the Abyss by A.K. Chesterton. Great, great analysis. A.K. Chesterton's brilliant appraisal of the liberal disease and corrupt society which has ravaged our country, indeed the world, over the past few decades, and will continue to do so unless and until we get a grip on ourselves and adapt a more traditional, a more rational, responsible, and purposeful attitude toward life and its problems. Now, I want to point out one particular line in the opening pages of this great book, Facing the Abyss by A.K. Chesterton. So let's say this second edition is dedicated to the British Canadian patriot John Beattie. Well, that's who's speaking right now, a humble little boy, Beattie Boy. It's one of the greatest honors of my life to have this Chesterton book renewed, the second edition, to be dedicated to myself. And those of you who followed me over the years through podcasts or broadcasts or whatever know that I prefer the term patriot rather than nationalist. Nationalist confuses me. Patriot is the key. So that's a few samples of the A.K. Chesterton. Great hero in so many British root circles. Speaking of British roots, with the renewal of broadcasts, renewal of videos on YouTube, if I can get this one up on YouTube and you do hear it, the American patriots are going to have to handle America. It's confusing enough in Britain and Canada, Australia, New Zealand. And I'm not getting any younger. So I'm going to concentrate on the British roots. And I'll leave America to our good friend Max and Mark Davis and so many others. They can handle it. I had a great run with them on podcasts, broadcasts. Now I'm going to go back to the British People's League original roots. And speaking of British connection, we also want to give a plug at this time for Peter Hollings, Hollings. Peter Hollings, Hollings, on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, use Facebook as a tool. That's what I do. I use it as a tool. Use the users. My personal slogan, I love it. Use the users. Anyway, Peter Hollings on Facebook. He gives a detailed analysis all the time on what's happening in Britain for our people, for our choir, for our circles. And ours is what counts. Now let's switch to down to Canada for a bit. And you know of the white people still the majority in Canada. The white people, the British stock is still the majority within the majority white circles. Those are British stock. And of course, along with French Canadians or German Canadians or European Canadians, we work together. But let's face it, those are British stock. Look up any phone book outside of the major cities, any phone book. Cooper, Jones, Henderson, Anderson, Smith, Taylor, you name it. It's still a British stock. Proud of it, and it's the foundations for Beattie Boy here, way back in 1978 when British People's League was founded. We don't have members. Members is tricky business. What we do have is friends. And the way I like to preach is that friends of the British People's League get together in their kitchens or their living rooms, not in coffee shops, not in pubs and beer booze cans. No. In the privacy of your own home. And by the way, in the privacy of your own home, I know the law. I was a licensed paralegal for 20 years with the Law Society of Upper Canada. I'm so proud that I acquired my license when it was termed the Law Society of Upper Canada, because that's exactly where my buddy here, Sir John, a member of the Law Society of Upper Canada, and I still am, even though retired, a member in good standing. Now, how did I get detoured off of that? Oh, yes, on the law. Okay. For one thing, the anti-fascist characters, they can wear masks as long as they're not going to break the law. We know they all break the law all the time, but you have to catch them at the planning stage. The Crown Attorney in Canada can't lay charges unless it looks as if there's going to be a conviction, because they got to convince the judge of a reasonable doubt. The defense has to convince a reasonable doubt to be acquitted, and the Crown Attorney doesn't like to be made a fool of. Well, if the police put an infiltrator, like they do in the bike gangs, they put an infiltrator in the anti-fascist groups, I'm sure they catch them planning to, hit out at some of our people, especially at demonstrations. But anyway, speaking of demonstrations, this past weekend, now today is May the 7th, 2019. So this past weekend, as I look up the calendar, I got a great memory, haven't I? Saturday the 4th. There were some fantastic operations, legal operations. Oh, by the way, you like Billy the Bulldog? Billy the British Bulldog. Okay, the operations this past weekend. Fantastic here in the Toronto area. I say here in Toronto area. I'm 3 miles from Toronto. It's taken over my brain this past weekend. I'm so pleased to see so many newbies. And again, the white supermarket shelf, there's so many choices. So this past weekend, the two that stand out is the Freebird Media, it's called, Freebird Media on YouTube, and also the Forgotten Canadians on YouTube. Now, the Forgotten Canadians, every Saturday afternoon, meet. An overpass on a bridge 50 years ago, I had to meet in a public park and got beat up all the time. Now they've moved location to an overpass the bridge with an audience of thousands and thousands of vehicles going onto the underpass holding up signs against Trudeau and all the creeps and all the liberal globalist scum. And then at the same time this weekend, Freebird Media was busy filming the Patriot Demonstration in downtown Toronto, and the anti-fascist goons showed up, of course. But it was a mask law. That's what I was going to get at, too. That under the mask law, it's not illegal if you don't plan to break the law. You got to catch them in the planning stages, folks. The goons got to be caught in the planning stages. Get an infiltrator in there. Pretend you're one of them. Get enough dirt on them, and then point it out to the cops. Dox all the bastards. Anyway, how are you today? Of course, I'm tense because I hope to hell this take this video that I can get it onto YouTube. The first two went on okay, but today I don't know. When I first finished the first setup earlier today to get out, I just wasn't hitting the right spot. Now I wonder where in heck I'm going to go to set it up. I wish my computer expert was around. Well, I will be able to keep it on file, but when I go to share it, it says it's too big. But the first two videos I did, I finally found how to send it and forward it to you people by Facebook, by the blind copy list, and put it up on the British People's League webpage. Now, of course, I'm stalling. It's pretty hard to do a take on a video and then have to retake. Oh, Beattie, cry the blues. It takes a while to set everything up, too, for the show. I was proud to have the British Bulldog shirt. So how are you today? You have a rough week? And I do like to talk to you as people, not as white patriots necessarily that I'm trying to stir up or whatever. I always glance out the window to see what's walking by when I'm taping. I noticed that the screen is a bit darker today, which is good. You can see all the wrinkles on Beattie Boy, and they're not all caused from old age. They're caused from being a patriot, as our fellow white patriots know. Especially those in Britain who take the patience for electioneering, handing out leaflets, meeting halls, and so on. But here in Canada, finally at last, there's so many groups springing up. Boy, those who hate patriots are having a hard time keeping track of them all. We're just beginning. This will be the third since the revival of YouTube's on the John Beattie channel, since we had to discontinue in 2015. And once we get the hang of it, I thought today I would get the hang of it. I thought it just flowed into YouTube automatic, but no, you got to hit the right button or something. But once we get the hang of it, you won't be able to hear me cry about that anymore. You can't hear me cry about winter anymore. The big famous blue Guernsey sweater that my passed away wife knit, a treasure, a treasure, a treasure. Lasts me all winter. Well, I don't have to wear it anymore. So I got nothing to bitch about there, except tomorrow they're coming to do the annual check I've done for a couple of years on the water heater, oil fire water heater in the furnace. Guess what the price is? Oh, they're going to save me $35. $350 to service furnace and water heater. Well, what can you say? They're the specialists. I guess I'm bringing that up because you people out there working for a living, try, in spite of all the taxes and feeding the third world invaders, whatever you want to call them, try to put some savings, a planned savings. Don't end up like me. Well, I have a decent excuse. I mean, raised two families, plus a white crusade politics in between. I'm not trying to boast. I'm just saying I've been through it. It's hard. But do your best to put something aside, because it's pretty rough in the winters. Do I need to coach you on that? Well, we'll see what happens. But as I've said in the first two revived videos, In 30 years' time, there's going to be mobs out there who may not like white people. So best you listen to Beattie Boy and form a legal underground defense unit, Ludus. Yes, in your kitchen cabinet. Yes, in your front room. If you got family members that don't go along with saving our white cause, our white race, they'd rather talk about saving the whales, well, let's save them both. And you can't hold a get-together in your kitchen, well, find one of your buddies where you can hold a kitchen get-together. And I will visit when possible. Private get-togethers, and oh yes, also under the hate laws in Canada, you can speak freely at private home gatherings. Private conversations are defense. They tried to nail an Indian tribal chief here in Canada for hate conversation, and passed away Barrister Douglas Christie, who's defended so many white patriots, defended the Indian chief and proved that the Indian chief was smoking in private conversation. He had no idea that a public reporter had jammed a microphone around him. Private conversation. So in the homes, you can feel free. In your garage. You might say, well, are you that desperate, Beattie? That's where you got to be. Well, it's not a case of desperation. It's a case of survival for our white race. And it is war. We will defend ourselves legally. Legal underground defense units. At least we'll have something set up if and when the public authorities need assistance and they can't keep control of everything. Like you'd almost wonder about the big cities like Toronto. Murders, and more murders. Like the cities around the globe and the knifings in London, England. Well, let's try and end today's video on a positive. Check out the YouTuber, The Forgotten Canadians. Check out Free Bird Media. There's a couple of good starters. Okay? I hope to hell this will take on YouTube, on John B's YouTube, so I can circulate it today, May the 7th, 2019. Thanks for listening to the Cries and the Blues. I'll get at you next time to celebrate Empire Day, Queen Victoria Day, May 24th weekend, so a little bit before that. Goodbye for now. And I've said goodbye as I look down below and see where to click for the YouTube. And I just don't see. Okay, it says stop taking video. I'll hit that one.